The storm had ended, but the valley still smelled of blood and ash. Burnt trees smoked in the distance, and the bodies of dragons, once proud, radiant beings, lay scattered across the mountainside. The war between dragon clans had ended in ruin. Among the fallen was a dragoness once known as Side.HFY, the Sky Flame, her wings bright as sunrise and her fire feared by kings. Now her wings hung uselessly at her sides, the bones shattered, the nerves beyond healing. When her kin found her barely breathing amid the wreckage, their leader gave a single order. "She will never fly again. Leave her." They turned away, one by one, with lowered heads and hard hearts. Side.HFY watched them vanish into the clouds she would never touch again. Rain mixed with her tears, hissing softly against her scales. She tried to drag herself toward the caves, but her hind legs barely moved. The fire in her chest, once proud and fierce, guttered out to smoke. Days passed. The valley grew silent. One, the human, he found her by accident. A young human named Ronan, a wandering blacksmith and healer, had come to scavenge metal from the battlefield. Humans rarely ventured here. The dragons despised them, but Ronan was desperate. His village was starving, and the iron from dragon armor could feed them through winter. He walked with a spear in one hand and a pack on his back, the scent of smoke and blood thick in his lungs. Then he heard it, a low, broken sound, half growl, half sob. He followed it past the burned pines, and there she was, a mountain of silver scales dulled by ash. Her eyes, once fierce, glowed faintly with pain. Her wings were twisted, useless. For a long time, neither moved. Ronan's heart pounded. Every tale he'd heard said dragons killed humans on sight. He could run. He should run, but he didn't. Instead, he dropped his spear and took a slow step forward. Hey there, easy. I won't hurt you." Her eyes narrowed to slits. Smoke curled from her nostrils. "A human," she rasped, her voice like stones grinding together. "Come to steal from the dying?" Ronan swallowed hard. "No, I came to see who was left alive." She laughed, a bitter, pained sound. "Then look well, human. You have found the last of the Skyflame brood. Broken, worthless." He looked at her wings, then back to her eyes. "You're still breathing. That's worth something." She turned her head away. "Leave me to the earth." Ronan hesitated, then set down his pack and began gathering branches. "What are you doing?" "Building a shelter. Rain's coming." "Shelter?" Her voice trembled between disbelief and fury. "For me?" He nodded. "You'll die from the cold before your wounds finish the job. If you're going to die, it shouldn't be because of the weather." Her gaze followed him in silence as he worked through the night, collecting wood, lighting a small fire, covering her with torn canvas to shield her from the rain. No one had ever done that for her before, not even her own kind. 2. The long healing, Ronan returned the next morning. Then the next. He brought food, what little he could hunt or forage. He boiled herbs and ground roots into poultices, pressing them against the wounds along her wings. When fever took her, he stayed awake, keeping her scales cool with wet cloths. Sometimes she slept for days. Other times she snapped at him, her pride too deep to bear pity. "You waste your days, human," she hissed once. "Even if my wounds heal, my wings will never rise again." Ronan only smiled faintly. "Then I'll build you legs strong enough to walk. You think me some beast to chain to your forge?" "No," he said quietly. "I think you're someone who shouldn't die alone." That silenced her. Weeks turned into months. When the snow began to fall, Ronan had built a small hut beside her resting place. He forged crude braces of wood and leather to support her broken limbs. Each day he helped her move an inch farther. She hated the pain but hated pity more. So when she stumbled, she roared at the mountains until her voice broke. And when she fell, Ronan was there, steady and silent, never mocking her struggle. One night, as the snow turned the valley white, she spoke softly. "Why do you help me?" He hesitated, then said, "Because I know what it's like to be thrown away." She lifted her head, eyes gleaming in the firelight. Ronan's voice was low. "My village. They cast me out when I refused to forge weapons for their wars. They said I was a coward. Maybe I am. But I'd rather heal than kill." Silence stretched between them. Then slowly the dragoness lowered her great head until it rested near his feet. "Then perhaps," she murmured, Two broken creatures can keep each other warm. 3. Wings of the heart spring came. Cerethra's scales shone again, duller than before, but alive. Her wings remained twisted, but her forelimbs were strong. She could walk now, though her steps were slow and heavy. The valley bloomed with wildflowers around her feet. Ronan had built a forge beside the river. Smoke curled gently from its chimney as he worked, hammering strange curved plates of silver and steel. "What are you building now?" she asked one morning, curious. He smiled, eyes bright with quiet pride. "A gift." When it was done, he carried the metal frame toward her, massive, intricate, shaped like wings. She blinked in confusion. "What is this?" "An idea," he said. "If your bones can't lift you, maybe this can." He strapped the frame along her back, the joints aligning with her crippled wings. It was rough, heavy, but when the wind blew, the metal feathers shimmered like flame. "Try moving them," he said. She did. Slowly, painfully, the wings shifted, catching a breeze. For a heartbeat, her body lifted an inch from the ground. Then she stumbled, collapsing with a startled growl. But her eyes were wide with wonder. "I felt the air," Ronan smiled. "You did." Day after day, they refined the design. He built lighter alloys, oiled the joints, and strengthened the frame. Cerethra learned balance again, strength returning to her legs. And then, one dawn, standing atop the cliffs, she spread those mechanical wings and leapt. For a heartbeat, nothing. Then the wind caught. The metal shimmered, flexing, humming with life. She rose, not far, not for long. But she rose. Ronan laughed aloud, tears in his eyes. "You're flying!" She landed with a heavy thud, but her heart thundered with joy. "Not yet, but soon." She lowered her head to him, her voice trembling. "You gave me back the sky." He touched her muzzle gently. "You gave me back hope." 4. Return of the Dragons. Word spread across the peaks. Whispers carried by ravens and echoes of wind. The exiled sky flame had risen again. One evening, the clouds darkened as dragons returned, dozens circling above the valley. Cerethra stiffened. "They come." Ronan stood beside her, unarmed but unafraid. When they landed, their leader, an enormous crimson male, glared down at the human. "You betrayed your kind, Cerethra. You live with a man? You wear his metal like a slave's chain?" Her eyes flared gold. "No, I wear his gift," the crimson dragon sneered. "A gift? You disgrace our blood. A sky flame who cannot fly is no dragon." Ronan stepped forward. "Then you never understood what makes her one." The crimson one's eyes blazed. "Silence, worm." Before he could finish, Cerethra reared back, her wings of silver catching the sunset. The wind roared, lifting her higher, her mechanical feathers glinting like blades of light. "I may be broken," she thundered, "but I still rise." The other dragons fell silent as she soared above them, awkward, trembling but flying all the same. When she landed, the crimson one bowed his head, speechless, and for the first time in years, Cerethra smiled. It sipped on the choice. After the others left, humbled and wordless, Cerethra turned to Ronan. "Your kind will call you mad for what you've done," she said softly. "Mine already has," he smiled. "Then maybe it's good madness." She lowered her great head, eyes shimmering. "Ronan, will you come with me? There are skies yet unseen, lands untouched. I cannot promise safety, but I can promise freedom." He hesitated, glancing back at his forge, his small hut. Everything he'd built was here. Then he looked at her, alive, radiant, defiant against fate itself. He laughed softly. "A human riding a dragon made of metal and scars? Sounds like a fine story." Cerethra crouched low, letting him climb onto her back. As the dawn light spilled over the mountains, she leapt, wings spreading wide, wind screaming past them both. And for the first time since the war, she truly flew. Below them, the valley shrank to a silver thread. Ahead, the world opened like an endless promise. "Hold tight, Little Smith," she said, her voice fierce and proud. "The sky is ours now." And together, they vanished into the sun, a paralyzed dragoness reborn, and the human who refused to leave her behind.